If you receive a call like this, hang up the phone immediately. It's a scam. The IRS will not call you threatening legal action. You admitted to taking $1.4 million from Louis Breda. Why would you do that? Can you confirm that the teacher is on leave pending the investigation into this physical restraint? And if not, why won't the district confirm that information?
I will have to defer to the district.
We compared EMS response times from 2022 to 2024. Cities and towns with the steepest increase, Needham with a 105% increase, Millville 40%, Watertown 39%, Attleboro 38%, and Adams 36%. In fact, we found nearly 2/3 of cities and towns in Massachusetts saw their average response times increase.
5 Investigates Brittany Johnson reports tonight. The family says their pleas for help were repeatedly ignored.
And we do want to warn you, some viewers might find some of this difficult to watch.
Right there in that chair.
These are the memories twin sisters Tracy Littman and Tammy McGonigal hold on to.
Leaving us off in the sailboat, remember?
Snapshots of a father who made childhood feel like an adventure.
He was a great dad.
Yeah.
And grandfather.
James Gorman was a respected engineer, but vascular dementia slowly changed him.
He could have sat and done a calculus problem for you, but he wouldn't know if he took his pills that day.
They remember the day they realized their dad couldn't stay at home anymore.
He believed his dog Ben was still alive, who had been gone probably 20 years. It was February and he wanted to go out in the woods and look for the dog that wasn't going to be found.
They moved him into a memory care unit at Cornerstone at Milford Assisted Living.
It was the hardest decision I think I've ever made in my life.
But they soon heard concerns from their father about another resident coming into his room uninvited. With Cornerstone's permission, they installed cameras in their father's room.
And then we realized how many people were walking in and out of his room.
According to this lawsuit filed by Gorman's estate, the camera also caught the other resident sleeping in Gorman's bed, trying to kick Gorman out of his own room and asking Gorman for money.
Get out! Close the door, please. Yelling and everything.
The suit says Gorman's family had more than 40 phone calls and meetings with assisted living home staff, but the problem persisted.
Everyone knew what was going on, but no one was doing anything.
Then, in February 2023, the moment they feared.
Let me out. I can't let you out, you baby. Huh? I gotta keep you in here. I gotta keep you in here, Jimmy. Oh. You fall down. You...
Video clip shared by the family shows the moment when Gorman, trying to leave his room, was shoved to the ground. While it's unclear how long he was on the floor before staff found him, other video clips show Gorman on the ground as staff members stand nearby. The lawsuit claims 20 minutes went by before anyone called 911.
It was heartbreaking to see him on the floor with 3 staff not really attending to him.
Gorman suffered severe hip, pelvic, and wrist fractures. He never walked again.
Wheelchair bound for the rest of his life.
Gorman died 2 years later.
Do you think that the fall ultimately took his life?
It didn't help him, that's for sure.
The sisters say they don't blame the man who pushed him. They blame the home.
It's Cornerstone's responsibility to protect their residents, and they did not do that at any level.
Cornerstone denied wrongdoing in court papers and in a statement said the well-being, safety, and quality of life of the people who choose to make Cornerstone at Milford their home are at the heart of everything we do. We have built a legacy of over 10 years on this very mission. Regrettably, we are not at liberty to comment further due to patient privacy laws.
I've seen many videos of neglect or abuse or resident-on-resident altercations.
Attorney David Hoey specializes in representing families suing nursing and assisted living homes. He also represents Gorman's family.
How big of a problem is this in Massachusetts?
Every single day, somebody's either being verbally or physically in an altercation with another resident in an assisted living facility.
If this is known, if it's prevalent, why does it keep happening?
Assisted living is growing so fast, they can't keep up with proper staffing.
So we put him there to protect him, and in the end, he was hurt being there. And it feels like we let him down. And it's a really hard thing to live with. And
a Massachusetts assisted living task force last month recommended a number of changes from fire safety to staffing requirements. Attorney Hoey says he thinks more enforcement of existing regulations is needed. The lawsuit is pending. Reporting in the newsroom, Brittany Johnson, 5 Investigate.
Let's get to our Brittany Johnson. She's been digging into how all of this unfolded. Brittany?
Well, Ed and Maria, this is just the latest case of a city employee landing in trouble with the law in recent months. And in this case, that worker is being held on 5 felonies after a confrontation with both the suspect and the trooper being tased.
What's up, man? How you doing? Good. Give you a license registration?
It starts as a routine traffic stop in South Boston. A state police trooper spotting a car with window tint that appears darker than allowed by law. It all unfolded here on Old Colony Avenue, just past a traffic rotary.
I just got out of work. What do you do? I can't see the ad. Oh, City Boston.
The driver, Nasiru Ibrahim, on the city payroll, working in the property management department.
No, you're good. Just relax.
No, I know. The trooper writing in his report that because Ibrahim's demeanor was nervous and he admitted to prior firearms charges, the trooper asked to inspect a backpack on the passenger side floorboard. A few seconds later.
Hold on. Why? Yo. No. Stop, dude. Stop. You're going to make it worse.
As the chaos unfolds, you can see them struggling over the car's transmission as Ibrahim tries to put the car in drive and the trooper struggles to keep it in park.
You're going to kill somebody, dude. Okay. You're going to kill somebody.
The struggle continues. Then you can hear the trooper use his taser on Ibrahim. Not shown on the video, but in the police report, the trooper says he had to drop his taser to put the car back in park, saying, quote, Ibrahim picked up my taser and deployed the second set of probes into the lower right side of my abdomen, causing excruciating pain. Ibrahim eventually agreed to surrender and with the help of an off-duty Boston police officer was placed under arrest. Inside the car, according to the report, a .40 caliber Glock pistol modified to make it a fully automatic machine gun. Ibrahim's attorney telling us, quote, there are significant legal issues concerning the stop and why my client was pulled over, and that may impact the remainder of the case. The Wu administration is also responding tonight, saying the city placed Ibrahim on unpaid leave as it learned of the allegations.
5 Investigates Brittany Johnson reveals how a woman who was supposed to protect this man gained his trust and took his fortune instead.
Described as a brilliant mind, a world-renowned MIT professor, Dr. Louis Breda spent decades studying how humans hear and communicate.
Louis was the bright one, exceptionally bright.
Mary Massey says her brother's health began to decline in 2019 after 3 strokes. That's when Fatoumata Jada, a.k.a. Fatima, a home health aide, entered the picture. Mary became suspicious after their first call.
He loves me. We're doing very well. He wants me in his will. He wants to give me power of attorney. I said, can I speak to him? No.
When she did meet with her brother to ask about a safe deposit box, her suspicions only deepened.
The lockbox, I just said, is it still there? And he nodded. And Fatima said, you can't be here, you can't do that, you're disturbing him.
Mary was concerned enough to call State Elder Services and Arlington Police. A police detective called her back.
And he said everything is fine, he's being well taken care of.
Mary called police again, saying there was possible financial exploitation. But police wrote that Breda appeared content with his current care situation. 6 days later, Breda signed this form, giving Fatima his power of attorney, controlling his care, communication, and his cash. Other pleas for help followed to police and state elder services. But it wasn't until April of 2022, 2 years later, that authorities stepped in. They brought in a psychologist who diagnosed Breda with dementia. What else they found? Also heartbreaking.
She took it all, not only money, and she took my brother.
As part of a lawsuit, Fatima admitted to taking $1.4 million from Breda. That included a $300,000 a year annual salary and dozens of transfers and checks for everything from hair beads to an extravagant baby gift. She also began having a sexual relationship with Breda and admitted she improperly exercised undue influence and control over Dr. Breda for personal gain. She settled the suit, agreeing to pay $500,000.
She's a health worker. You know, she should not be writing checks. She should not be dealing with his finances.
Attorney Stuart Gardner represents Mary Massey and says this case raises questions about how well authorities are trained to handle sophisticated elder fraud schemes.
They can stop the guy running down the street with a purse or something. They don't understand when they come in for 5 minutes and pull Dr. Breda aside and say, "Are you okay?"
You admitted to taking $1.4 million from Louis Breda. Why would you do that? Fatima declined to speak on camera, but off camera, she told 5 Investigate she's done nothing wrong, saying Breda wanted her to have his money, that they were in love, and took trips together.
It's outrageous that this happened at the scale and level that it did.
Alice Diamond is a volunteer with AARP's Fraud Watch Network.
I cannot imagine the circumstances under which a caregiver should ever be given power of attorney.
Why?
Because the caregiver's role is to provide physical care, groceries, errands.
Are there systems in place to protect vulnerable individuals?
There are, but clearly they all failed in this case.
That's why Mary Massey is speaking out.
Why would anybody report a caregiver after this? After they learn that you could have such egregious action and not be punished, and that whole system needs to be looked at and has to be changed.
Mary Massey says she met with the DA about pressing charges, but they declined. Arlington police tell us they referred Dr. Breda to numerous agencies for help. And Minuteman Senior Services, who Mary also called, said they cannot comment on individual cases. Dr. Breda died in September 2022. He was still in Fatima Jada's care.